Vikings were the people who turned fungus into fire, tar into tools, and the open sea into their backyard. Let's dive into 10 Viking survival hacks that still work, and still slap today. 1. Fire from fungus, the original tinder. Okay, picture this. It's 900 AD, you're freezing in the Scandinavian wilderness, your fur boots are soaked, and there's no fire. What do? You pull out your mushroom. Yep, a fungus called Fomes fomentarius, also known as tinder fungus, was basically the Viking version of a Zippo lighter, except biodegradable and way cooler. They'd boil it, beat it, dry it, and suddenly, bam! You've got fluffy ember-catching material ready to go. This stuff could hold a spark for hours, making it perfect for long travels. Think of it as the Viking power bank, but for fire. Add a flint and steel to the mix, and these guys were lighting up campfires long before matches or Bic lighters came into existence. Modern bushcrafters still swear by it, so next time you go camping, don't bring a lighter, bring a mushroom, and when your friends laugh, just tell them you're channeling your inner Viking. Bonus points if you grunt and stare into the distance while you do it. 2. Pine tar, nature's superglue and Viking duct tape. If the Vikings had a slogan, it would be, if it moves and it shouldn't, pine tar. If it leaks and it shouldn't, pine tar. This sticky miracle goo came from slow-cooking pine roots in a sealed pit. What they got was a black, gooey substance that was waterproof, weatherproof, and basically indestructible. They used it to seal ships, patch roofs, protect wood, and probably fix relationships. Their boats, those legendary longships that terrorized half of Europe, held together with tar and sheer Viking spite. Fast forward to now, pine tar is still used in everything from baseball bats to skincare. Yes, skincare. So if you ever find yourself stranded in the woods with a leaky tent and a bad case of dry elbows, pine tar has your back. Fun fact, it smells like you just wrestled a Christmas tree. So not only are you fixing your gear, you're also walking around smelling like Viking cologne. Win-win. 3. Longships, the Viking Uber XL. Let's talk about Viking longships. These weren't just boats, they were stealth machines, floating RVs, and the ancient version of a Ferrari all rolled into one. Lightweight, fast, silent. Longships were made from overlapping planks called clinker-built and sealed with, you guessed it, pine tar and animal hair. They could sail in oceans, rivers, puddles. Okay, maybe not puddles, but you get the point. And if the river ended, no problem. They'd just carry the boat, like it was a gym warm-up. Who does that? These ships didn't just help them raid, they helped them survive. Fishing, trading, relocating to less snowy death zones, whatever the need, the longship delivered. And the shallow draft? Perfect for sneaky getaways. Modern naval engineers still study their designs. Some kayaks and military boats even mimic the shape for speed and stealth. So yeah, next time you're on a canoe and feel like a Norse god, you're not entirely wrong. 4. The Seax. Not just a knife, it's a lifestyle. The Seax. Sounds like a medieval workout, but it's actually the Viking equivalent of a Swiss Army knife. If the Swiss Army knife could also dismember enemies. This wasn't some dainty little blade. The Seax was chunky, rugged, and always at your side. Need to carve wood? Seax. Skin a rabbit? Seax. Slice bread? Also Seax. Defend your sheep from a hungry bear? You guessed it. Seax. It had one edge, a solid grip, and serious attitude. Vikings carried it like we carry our phones, always on hand and ready to go. And the best part? Its design was so good that modern bushcraft knives borrow heavily from it. That big belly shape, great for slicing. The weight, just right for batoning wood. The versatility, next level. So if you're building a survival kit, skip the 10-blade monstrosity and grab a Seax-inspired knife. It won't shoot bottle openers out the side, but it'll probably save your life. Also, you get to say Seax out loud, which is always a fun time at dinner parties. 5th, traps and snares, lazy hunting, Viking style. Let's be honest, hunting is hard. It's cold, it's quiet, and deer have better hearing than your mum during your teenage years. Vikings knew this, so they played smarter, not harder. Instead of chasing animals for hours, they built traps and snares. They'd find game trails, set up clever mechanisms using natural materials, and then walk away. Come back later, dinner's ready. This passive hunting wasn't just efficient, it was essential. Food without the foot chase. That's peak survival logic. They built deadfalls for bigger animals, snare loops for rabbits, and pit traps if they were feeling dramatic. It worked because they understood animal behavior and patience. Today, these same trap designs are taught in survival schools. Why? Because they work. Nature doesn't change, and neither do the basic rules of hunger. So if you're ever lost in the woods, Take a Viking cue. Work smarter. Let gravity and twigs do the heavy lifting. Also, nothing beats the look on someone's face when you say, "I made this rabbit stew with a stick and string." 6. Birch bark, the Viking iPad, kindling and Tupperware. Birch bark was the Viking MVP. You know how we have separate tools for writing, cooking and carrying lunch? Vikings said, "Nah, one tree's fine." Need to send a message? Birch bark scroll. Need to light a fire in a storm? Birch bark curls like a dream. Need a waterproof container? Fold that bark, baby. It's strong, flexible and peels like a dream. Plus, it's flammable even when damp. If you've ever struggled to light a fire in the rain, birch bark is your new best friend. Some Viking letters written on birch bark actually survived. That's how durable this stuff is. Nature's Ziploc bag crossed with your grandma's recipe card. Even today, it's prized in bushcraft circles. People make baskets, roof tiles, fire starters, and more from it. So if you see a birch tree, don't just admire it, thank it, hug it even. Just don't peel it all off. It needs some dignity. 7. Sunstones, Viking Jeep without the recalculating. Let's say you're on a boat in the middle of the North Atlantic. It's cloudy, it's foggy, and the sun, MIA. How do you not die? Enter the Sunstone, a magical crystal, likely Iceland spar, that could find the sun's direction even in cloudy conditions. The Vikings used it to navigate with freakish accuracy across oceans. No compass, no map, no complaints. Scientists still argue about how exactly it worked, but some reconstructions have confirmed it's legit. You look through the crystal, rotate it until the light polarizes just right, and voila, you know where the sun is hiding. This means Vikings had a way to steer across the sea, storm or shine. While everyone else was hugging the coast, they were out there playing real-life Sea of Thieves. So yeah, before Jeeps, Google Maps, or that one friend who always knows a shortcut, the Vikings used sunlight-bending rocks. Take that, modern tech. 8. Layered clothing. Survival fashion before it was cool. Forget your REI catalogs. The Vikings invented layering, and they did it with style. Wool on the inside, linen tunics on top, animal hide cloaks when things got real. They didn't wear armor unless absolutely necessary, but when the wind hit, they were ready. Wool kept them warm even when wet, thank you, sheep. Tunics let them move freely. And cloaks? Instant blanket, shield, pillow, or dramatic entrance accessory. They even waterproofed their cloaks using, you guessed it, pine tar or lanolin. So rain? Bring it on. Snow? Cute. Modern hikers still follow this system. Base layer, mid layer, outer shell. The Vikings just did it centuries earlier and probably smelled way more like campfire. So next time you complain about having nothing to wear in the cold, remember a Viking probably survived a blizzard using one sheep, a needle, and a dream. 9th, Glima, the art of body slamming your problems. Glima wasn't just wrestling, it was survival. It was self-defense, it was cardio before Peloton, and it's probably the reason Vikings had calves the size of tree trunks. The goal? Stay balanced while unbalancing your opponent. Sounds simple? Try it with someone twice your size on a muddy hill while holding a drinking horn. Kids learned Glima early. Adults used it to train for battle, settle disputes, or just flex on the neighbors. It built strength, coordination, and confidence. And bonus, no one messed with the guy who casually suplexed people on the daily. It's still practiced in Iceland, by the way, which means Viking wrestling is officially cooler than 90% of modern gym classes. So if you want a functional workout that could also help you survive a bar fight, learn Glima. At the very least, it's a great party trick. 10. Community, the ultimate survival hack. Here's a secret. The strongest Viking wasn't the one with the biggest axe. It was the one with the best community. Vikings lived in tight-knit villages. Everyone had a role. The blacksmith, the farmer, the healer, even the gossip, you know there was one. They shared resources, knowledge, and labor. If someone got hurt, they were looked after. If winter hit hard, they bundled together. This wasn't just kindness, it was a strategy. In nature, lone wolves don't survive long, but wolf packs? Thriving. Modern preppers sometimes miss this point. You can stockpile canned beans all day, but if you don't have people to trust, teach, or trade with, you're just a lonely guy with gas. So build your tribe, whether it's your neighbors, your online crew, or your Dungeons and Dragons group. Community is the one hack that never goes out of style. So what did we learn from the Vikings? That survival isn't about fancy gadgets or wilderness aesthetics. It's about being resourceful, observant, and, most importantly, prepared. Whether it's setting traps with string, lighting fires with mushrooms, or navigating the world with a rock, These Norse hacks weren't just clever, they were genius. And guess what? Most of them still work. So try 1 or 10. Impress your friends. Or just be ready when the grid goes down and everyone's fighting over the last power bank at target. If you loved diving into ancient Viking wisdom with me, hit that like button, subscribe for more forgotten survival hacks, and drop a comment. Which Viking skill would you want to master? And remember, mushrooms, not just for pizza anymore,